Welcome to Week in Horror.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
The only podcast that will feed your horror need.
The need to feed.
With JL.
Yeah, I'm a fucking masochist. I'll watch that shit.
Eugene.
Somebody has to be the sex symbol. I'm sorry.
Alex.
Shit, I just demonetized this forever.
And Johnny O.
How do you like that shit? Got halfway through the monologue before unmuting myself. Golly, it's one of them fucking days.
With industry guests.
Hi, this is Richard Oakes, Director of Host.
Hey, this is Adam Leader, Director of Host.
This is Matthew Mark Hunter.
I'm Don Anelli.
And you're listening to Week in Horror.
And you're listening to Week in Horror.
And this is Week in Horror.
And you're listening to Week in Horror.
Welcome to prime time, bitch!
News, trivia, and more.
One by one, we will take you.
Join our live show Wednesdays at 7 Central, youtube.com/weekinhorror, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Week in Horror. Stay scared.
Think we're good? We're good? Yes, we're good. Ha! Welcome back, horror fans. It's Wednesday, and that means it's time for another episode of the Week in Horror podcast, the only podcast where the lucky ones die first. And if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast host, you can join us here for our live show here on YouTube, so you too can laugh and scream with us, flex your horror knowledge, and maybe even win some trivia prizes. This week, we are covering select films released in horror history, November 28th through December 4th. Thank you all so much for joining us. I am JL, and with me tonight are Eugene and Johnny O.
What's up, everybody?
Hi.
And the live chat is popping tonight. We got a little bit of a later start. We had a technical thing that we had to deal with. But
yeah, it's called JL being late.
It wasn't me being late. I was here since the beginning.
I'm kidding.
You know how I know I was here since the beginning? Because I'm the one who sets up the damn stream. So yes, Aaron Reese, it is time to pay attention.
No, it really isn't. It's time just to go do whatever, leave it running in the background and just go do whatever you're gonna do, because
this is true. Just wait till the trivia gets announced, then you pop back for that one.
Jump back on.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Good to go. Yeah.
Oh man, December 4th. This one goes into December.
Shut up.
This is the last month of the year, baby. This is it. 2022. 2022.
2022, here we come.
Oh, this year went by quick.
Did it?
Yeah.
Can you believe it though? I mean, yeah, it kind of did if you think about it.
It kind of did.
I mean,
it was like, it depended on the month.
2020 seemed to drag the fuck on because of the pandemic, and then 2021 came out and we slowly opened up, and then like boom, boom, fucking hell, here we are, 2022. Jesus Christ.
Oh, and you think about that. You think about it in terms, in the context of like time. So we got one more month left in 2021. It's about to be 2022, and then after that is only 9 months, and we're in season 4. And
why you want to hit the fast forward? You want to do this? Fucking no. Take it. Slow down.
JL's got this. He's got it planned out for the next 10 years. So
it's like, look, after year 5, we don't have new material. We're fucked.
No, we do have new material. It's just that we'll only be doing like one or two movies in episode.
It's going to be an in-depth breakdown. Right now, we're talking about
Hopefully by the time we get to that point, we'll be making movies steadily, so we'll be covering our own shit when it comes to.
Have you guys seen the new Eugene Hawkins movie? Well, check it out. We've got him direct to you from Hollywood. Like, oh, hey guys, I haven't been here for the past 10 years, but whatever. Yeah, hey, it's me.
It's like directed by Eugene Hawkins, starring JL and Johnny O. So let's talk about what's wrong with this movie, right?
Well, we already talked about the first 3 things there.
All right. Well, yes. Wow. This is the last episode of November, and then it takes us into December. And we're recording this on Wednesday for everybody listening to this when it goes live on Sunday. We are recording this on Wednesday, so this is the day before Thanksgiving. So happy holidays to everybody. Hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving tomorrow. And if you're listening to this on Sunday, I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving from all of us.
I hope you had a lot of fights with your family.
They're
it's going to happen. You know it's going to happen.
No, it won't be with me. No,
not
it
with
be
you.
with...
Yes, it will. You and your wife will be in some little argument. There's going to
no, it doesn't happen.
It has to. It's not really Thanksgiving. It's just not some sort of fight.
Well, they actually can't be, because it's going to be me and her parents. That's it.
So then there should be a fight, some kind of
fight.
There
absolutely won't be, because her parents love me. The only way there'd be a fight is if I was with my family. Because then it's going to be me and my brother, and then it's going to be me and my mother, and then it's going to be everybody. So
then Jingles and what's the other dog's name?
Shotzi.
Shotzi are going to fight. Okay, they're going to get. It's going to happen. It's not Thanksgiving unless people are fighting.
No, I think it's just going to be a quiet evening, because it's going to be just 4 people. It's like 4. There may be a fifth. I don't know.
There's one person. There's one person who be fighting with himself.
Why am I so alone? Shut up. Anyway, so I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday from all of us here at Week in Horror. Hope you all stay safe and have a great day tomorrow, either watching football or spending time with family, or definitely if you're traveling.
10 in space.
If you are traveling currently, be safe on the road, and have a fantastic Thanksgiving. So
you have a horrible Thanksgiving.
Good. Let's see. Johnny O, the cynical one.
I'm kidding. I hope everybody has a great time. Really, eat all the food that I can. So there you go.
You got to look at the chat. You already got Nail Gun 7 still stapling.
No, there's a bunch of them. There's some great ones in there. There's Nail Guns, still stapling, and then Nail Gun 8, Destruction Worker. Nail Gun 9, Cock Blockers. Nail Gun 7, I'm too old for this shit. Nail Gun 9, in space.
It's gonna take us 9 movies to get to space. That's a good thing.
That is a good. Well,
that's a good thing.
It took Jason 10 movies, so
it took Jason 10 movies to get to space, but it only took Leprechaun 4.
Yep.
It took Leprechaun and Critters 4 to get to space.
Well, technically, Critters is kind of started in space, so I mean. And then let's see, was it Hellraiser was 4 movies in space?
4 movies into space, yep.
Yeah. Let's see what else. That was it, right? No, yes, Freddy's never been to space, thank God.
Freddy has not been to space.
Who else hasn't been to space? Chucky hasn't been to space.
No, Chucky hasn't been to space.
Here,
Michael hasn't been to space. Halloween
hasn't been in space.
They don't celebrate Halloween in space.
No. Dracula's been in space, though.
Dracula's been in space.
Has been in space.
Yep.
Frankenstein hasn't been in space.
No, not that I know of.
No, neither is the Invisible Man or Wolfman. None of them been in space.
No, they haven't.
Look at all these missed opportunities.
That's what I'm saying. We should just do a whole.
All right. Well, before we kick off with what we're going to talk about tonight, with our selections tonight, let me see who is in the live chat currently. Up first, we got Tony Regime. Good to see you. Oh, and I forgot to do this. Boom. There's our amazing patrons down there in the bottom scrolling.
When you do that, it covers up Eugene's cleavage.
Well, I have to show him. No, actually, it doesn't. See, look.
Oh, it doesn't. Yeah, it's true.
Aha. So there we go.
Used to it had the cleavage there.
I'll just tighten up the push-up bra. Don't worry about it.
No, the Elvira boobs.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the Elvira boobs. All right. So, yes. So first up was Tony Regime. Good to see you, Tony Regime. Thank you for being here. Charlie Welch is second. The only man you never make a bet with on the internet. Good to see you, Charlie Welch. And also I'm one of our amazing patrons. Thank you so much, dude. There's Chris Durham Music Channel. He is in the house. Good to see you. He says, my trivia question answer. Bob Keeshan in the parlor with Mr. Green Jeans. Close. But I guess you'll find out when we get to the trivia question. Glober Mom is in the house. Good to see you. Glober Mom says, hello, everyone. Hello to you. And, Charlie Welch had a trivia answer as well as Clara Peller of Where's the Beef fame.
Where's the beef?
Good to see it. And Aaron Reese is in the house. Good to see you. I think there was another one. So was there another? Oh, yes. Tony Regime said the answer to the trivia is The Black Sleep, 1955.
That's racist.
Oh, fantastic. Good to see y'all there. And I see who else popped in here. It's just them because it took us a minute to start. Travis Brown is in the house. Good to see you.
We already did the stuff.
I know I didn't. What do you mean?
I didn't know. I'm answering his question.
Oh, I didn't see his private. Anyway, Travis Brown, good to see you. Says, hey, everyone. Good to see you, Travis Brown. And, of course, Sarah Velez. Good to see you, Sarah. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's a pleasure to have you.
You know.
Sarcasm is in the house. Another one of our amazing patrons. Good to see you, Sarcasm. Hello, everybody.
Aaron Reese asks a very good question.
I will get to his very good question. Nerd Journal's in the chat. Good to see you, Nerd Journal. And Jinju says, hello, everyone. Good to see you, Jinju. Cindy Johnson's in the house. Good to see you, Cindy. And we're very glad you made it, Sarah. Elizabeth S26, another one of our amazing patrons, says, hey, guys, plot hole, Week in Horror.
Hey, Elizabeth.
Good to see you, Elizabeth. Thank you so much. Glad you're feeling well enough to join us. And Brendan Riley's in the house. Says, good evening. Good evening, Brendan. And I think I got everyone so far. Nailgun 7 still stapling. Okay, that's where that was coming from.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you were making this up off the top of your head. I wasn't caught up with the chat.
No,
It's all side chat.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
These guys are brilliant.
The killer from Hatchet is true. Aaron Reese, what was it? No, Travis Brown. The killer from Hatchet has not been to space yet. This is true.
Technically, he has.
Oh, well, yeah, okay. Yeah, if you want to look at it that way. Charlie Welch says, technically, nobody's been to space. It's fake.
Oh,
all right. And I think I got everyone. So Aaron Ray says, speaking of, when is Eugene going to take off his shirt like the cool kids?
So if you go to Week in Horror OnlyFans, then there'll be plenty of samples there.
You know what's funny is I'm pretty sure there's a Week in Horror OnlyFans, only just spelled different. Think about that one for a minute, didn't
you? That's funny. That's cute.
All right. Out with our calendar also. Just
It's only got 3 months though.
Charlie Welch, Nail Gun 11, Boston or Milwaukee. I only get that one because I've worked in maintenance.
Yep.
All right, and Travis Brown says, I have watched the new Ghostbusters Afterlife movie, and it is so good.
I'm going to watch that one.
I have heard amazing reviews about the new Ghostbusters film, so I'm really looking forward to it.
looks good enough. And then it's got, of course, all the original Ghostbusters who are alive. They're making appearances. So. Yes, exactly.
I saw that. I think I saw everybody. Yes, I did get everybody. So thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you to our patrons for joining us for the live stream. It's so awesome to have you here. We do appreciate it. So before we jump into this, I wanted to ask you guys. So we're literally just over a month away. Now, technically, we're a month away from Christmas. So the Christmas season is soon to be upon us here in a few days, because even though Thanksgiving is about 3 days worth of time, in grocery stores, because the Christmas stuff starts hitting right after Halloween. I'm curious.
Christmas stuff in August. I'm not kidding. I'm serious. I was in Walmart and they had the ornaments, the Hallmark ornaments for Christmas already up.
Oof.
In August.
So I want to ask you guys, what is your favorite? And because all the movies we watch, but what is y'all's favorite Christmas horror movie?
Jingle All the Way.
Schwarzenegger and Sinbad.
You sure it's not Jack Frost?
Oh.
The Michael Keaton one? that snowman was creepy as fuck.
Creepy. Yeah, one of my kids came home and said, hey, look at my family friend. Like, no, the fuck, that's not.
I'm here to help you. No, go away, Bats. No,
you can go help the family down the street.
I don't care. And definitely let us know in the live chat what y'all's favorite Christmas horror film is, because there are many. And I used to have, I can tell you, my original favorite was Silent Night, Deadly Night. I always, because it's such a twist on Santa. Obviously, came in the 80s, and it was like it. And the fact that it was received so
Garbage Day.
No, that's part two.
That's part two.
That's part two.
Part of the same.
But yeah, still part of the same deal. But still, the first one was just like, what? I mean, it blows your mind. It's kind of like nobody expected that. And when your movie opens up with a Santa raping and murdering the parents of a little boy. It's kind of like, what the? So that was always been. But I recently came across another one that I had to watch because I hadn't heard of it. I hadn't come across before, and that was Once Upon a Time at Christmas, which is another evil Santa one.
Mm-hmm.
That one was, I don't don't know how that one slipped by me because I think everyone was so focused on Silent Night, Deadly Night that nobody really picked this one up. But Once Upon a Time at Christmas was hardcore. And I got to say that one is kind of taking the top spot. I know that there are other ones. There's ones that I enjoy, like, A Christmas Horror Story. No. Krampus was good. Scrooge is not a horror story.
The fuck it is, and you are so full of shit. It absolutely is.
Bill Murray?
It has ghosts. Bill Murray was in Ghostbusters, which is technically a horror movie.
That's Ghostbusters, but Scrooge.
But you can't say Bill Murray is so therefore it can't be.
No, Scrooge is a comedy.
Yeah,
it's a black comedy. Technically, it's technically a black comedy.
Yeah, that's racist.
Acid rain.
Yeah, come on.
What was it? Scrooge. International terrorism. It's like, what the hell does that have to do with anything?
Well, what does it have to do with the movie? It might scare the dickens out of people.
Sarcasm says favorite horror Christmas movie is Elf with Will Ferrell.
That scene where he's in the shower room. Now, first and foremost, how many
you sit on a throne of lies?
Yeah, how many places have a shower? Like, oh, hey guys, I know you work here. Make sure you take a shower here too. Maybe that's a New York thing, but I have never worked at a place where you could get ready for work at work.
Hey, Robert Caslow, good to see you. Says, "Was up, horror globetard heretics?" That's pretty much what we are. Good to see you, Robert Caslow. Chris Durham has a bone to pick with you.
Ghostbusters is horror. Technically, yes, it is. It's a horror comedy.
Ooh, he's got you there.
Yeah, horror comedy.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Yep.
So yeah, but I'm looking. Oh, Elizabeth S26, Gremlins.
You know, they're the Elvira boobs that come in whenever you put the comments. That's there it is.
There we go. Yes.
Yeah, Gremlins is. If you ever read like the original, it's much more frightening than what we got on screen.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you read the part where they're talking about when Billy comes home and they're playing soccer or they're kicking a ball around in the Christmas tree. The Gremlins are. Like originally, that was supposed to be his mother's head. Like,
damn, that's awesome.
It was that fucking. It was like,
dark.
No shits given.
Travis Brown says my favorite one is All Through the House from Tales from the Crypt. I think that's the one where Larry Drake played the psychotic Santa, like the escaped mental patient that dressed as Santa, and it was basically it was kind of like a home invasion attack, but it was Santa, yeah, and it was attacking her and her daughter. Bad Santa, sarcasm, bad Santa. Santa's sleigh should get some play because Goldberg was amazing in Santa's sleigh.
The whole movie was just stupid, right? But it's one of those ones that's like a fun kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Santa is the Antichrist who was condemned to 1,000 years of delivering presents and joy because he lost a curling match against an angel.
Yeah, exactly. That's how stupid it is. But again, it's fun. When the opening scene is killing Fran Drescher.
Fran Drescher, a bunch of that's gonna sound so bad. A bunch of Jewish people.
Yeah,
James Caan, Fran Drescher, Chris Kattan. It's just a family full of Jewish people celebrating Christmas.
Yeah.
And he pops in there and kills everyone in related ways.
Yeah.
Sets Fran Drescher on fire and drowns her in eggnog, which is brilliant. Oh, yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus.
so many things wrong with that movie. It's just if you would put that movie to some fucking PC film people like
Saul Rubenstein plays the Jewish butcher it's not a kosher butcher shop either. Gets killed by Santa. I mean, it's so absolute brilliant.
Yeah.
Sarcasm says, I am jealous of Will Ferrell. He acts like an 8-year-old and gets paid millions. I just get fired.
That's true. Some people
That
got
is
it.
so true.
This is true. Glober Mom says Home Alone. It is scary that Macaulay Culkin is 41 years old now.
Fucking hell, I know. Tell me about it.
This
We're
is the
the same
thing with
age.
Home Alone. Home Alone is a solid movie for kids.
It absolutely is.
I mean, it really is, and a lot of those traps are actually lethal.
You've seen that video. There's a video on YouTube which put those actual like traps through the test. That paint can.
I would kill him up there.
They did the ballistics on it. It's like if you took a full paint can to the face from that height, you're talking it's like straight brain damage at minimum. Black. Yeah.
There's like fractured skull, and then they get knocked down the stairs.
And then they go down the stairs. And I mean, other stuff. What was interesting is that they tested the blowtorch on the door handle. That actually wouldn't happen. It would actually set the interior of the door on fire because door handles aren't built that way.
Right.
So the heat would transfer to the interior insulation of the door and set that on fire, and then the door would catch fire. But then you got stuff like he just cracks it. Of course, my favorite moment in it is when the tarantula is on Joe Pesci, and Daniel Stern's got the crowbar. He's like, just don't move. He's like,
they had to
like, Marv, what are you doing? Marv, what are you doing? Marv.
He just gets so scared.
What are you doing?
Because he was knocked out, right? He was knocked out, and then the scene right before that where Macaulay Culkin had to put the spider onto Marv.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? Couldn't do it. He's
Daniel Stern.
Daniel Stern could not do that. So he's deathly afraid of spiders. Like, so they had to film it in reverse and then add this. I don't. This is something about adding the screen in later because he said he couldn't hold it. Yeah.
Oh, Aaron Reese says that scream from Marv was legit. He just freaked the fuck out. When he hears Joe Pesci's reaction, it's like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "What are you doing?" Marv, what are you doing? And he just stoves his chest in with that crowbar.
Yeah.
Oh, that would hurt. That would hurt like a mother.
Yeah. Oh, you jerk. Joe Pesci got in so much trouble with Christopher Columbus because he wouldn't stop cursing on set.
Really?
Yeah, like Chris Columbus had to pull him. It's like, dude, Macaulay Culkin's like 7 years old. You need to chill out.
What the fuck you talking about?
You just come off of 2 Martin Scorsese films,
right?
Yeah, that is Joe fucking Pesci. I mean, come on.
Oh, yes. Tony Regime is correct. Macaulay could have called the police at any time. He wanted to torture and kill the wet bandits.
Yep.
It's
true.
God, that was hilarious. Ryan and Nance, good to see you. Says, I'm here. Sorry I'm late, but I'm here trying to cannibalize some survivors on DVD to unlock Leatherface's secret masks on Death by Daylight video game there. So that's what he's trying to do. So he's playing Dead by Daylight. Good to see you, Ryan and Nance.
What are we doing here? We bullshitting about fucking Home Alone and Macaulay Culkin. We're talking about horror films.
Yes, we are talking about horror films. God,
Let's do it.
I haven't revisited Home Alone in a long time. It was nice to reminisce.
I know. It's that time, right? We got Home Alone and we have Christmas Vacation. Those are staples in this house during Christmas time. Because
the iron off the ironing board, iron in the face from 2 stories up.
Oh yeah, that's gonna fuck somebody up.
Yeah,
that was just because it was the iron. That's why he had the iron
triangle
on his forehead.
Yeah. Not to mention how quickly the foot would become infected from stepping on that nail.
That nail.
Oh, it wasn't like a little nail either. It was a fucking 4-inch nail.
It literally goes
4-inch roofing nail.
He's watching this. Oh, it reminds me very much. And then, of course, I love the Hallmark. There was a throwback when you're watching horror film. You're Next. And Your Next had a beautiful. I think it's kind of a throwback there because she puts the board with the nails in it too far forward. so that the guy coming to the window looks and he sees it and he's like, ha ha, you put it too far forward. So he steps closer in, but there's another board he doesn't see, and he steps right through that bit. And it's like it straight impales his foot that he can't get rid of it. He's like, God damn. Oh, so yes, Brendan Riley. In Vietnam, they were called punchy sticks. Oh,
they go against the Geneva Convention too. So,
oh, and I saw Commander Darklight has joined us. Says, hey guys, good to see you, Commander Darklight, one of our amazing patrons, one of our earliest patrons as well.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, you too can become a patron. You just follow the links in the description box below for a little $1.
Yeah, just a minimum. It's like $1 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you get access. You get access to the patron stuff, to the exclusive patron channel in the Discord, and you get early access. Or you get early access to the productions that we make, like films that we do or whatever, the stuff that we produce outside, under the banner of Week in Horror, but outside of the show. And then, of course, your name here on the banner as one of the amazing supporters of our show.
Yep.
So yes, you are correct. And Lavender Mexican is here. It says hola, Lavender Mexican.
Hello.
I was just reminded of there's a girl that does the voice of Dora. Hola. Me llamo Dora. Me llamo Dora. And then
Dora, how can you sound like the whitest of white people?
But people around her, she'll do the voice, but then people will be like, will get annoyed with her and throw shit at her and hit her in the head. Have you not seen this?
I have not seen it.
I haven't seen it either.
She was in the kitchen while her mom's making lunch, and she starts doing like the me llamo Dora, and she's like, I would like a sandwich. It's in Espanol. It's like this, and she turns around and her mom just you see a sandwich.
I have seen it. She gets fucked up by a pie. It's not like it's just like someone pushes on her face. She turns. It's like boom. It just hits her and takes her.
And
out.
her head like snaps back. It's impressive. Her brother did the same thing when he threw a book at her and hit her in the face with a book.
It looks like her head's gone.
Oh, it's good stuff. Oh, and I thought you said yes, Tiny Captain. Good to see you. Tiny Captain says hi, guys. And of course, Beaver C. Oh, wait, Beaver C's not here. Sorry, Beaver C. I didn't mean to point you out. Good. All right. And see, look at this. We had amazing people join. And Thor Rasmussen says, good morning, you scary people. Good to see you, Thor Rasmussen.
Hey, Thor, your shirt will be, I need your shipping information because I have your shirt ready.
And so, yeah, well, that's good because, Aaron Reese says, I take it FTFE just let out. So I think, yeah, probably. All right, yes, but we do have some movies to talk about. The whole point and purpose of the show is to talk about horror movies and ones that released this week. So, Eugene, why don't you kick us off? What do we have up first?
All right, so the first horror movie we have today is Home Alone, released November 29th.
This like what you did there.
Was it who directed that? This
Christopher Columbus.
This Christopher Columbus nightmare came to us in
from a dark universe. Yes. A Jigsaw in training. They should reveal that he's a collector or this Jigsaw or something like that at the very end on it. But actually, so the first movie we got today is called Transmutations, also known as Underworld, not the Kate Beckinsale one, but beforehand.
Too bad.
I know. Love me some Kate Beckinsale. And it was released November 29th, 1985. It was directed by George Pavlov, and it stars Delholm Elliott, Miranda Richardson, Stephen Burkhoff, Larry Lamb, and Art Malik. And
nicely done.
Oh, thank you. I practice.
You study. I was going to say you study. Yeah, golf clap.
Golf clap. Well done.
Thank you. If you give me John Smith, I'll fuck it up. But
that would be Jahan.
Mitty.
You English kniggets.
That's racist.
And basically what ends up happening is you have a private eye who is basically investigating, put up against mutants that are trying to get a drug from a mad scientist. and shit gets real.
There it is.
Boom. Yes, it absolutely does.
We gotta have that. We gotta figure that out. Like the thing, the graphic.
Yeah, it has to be like shit gets real. Like,
yeah, we gotta figure that one out.
So this was an interesting one, and one thing that has to be pointed out is part of like when we're doing the breakdown, that it must be noted at first that this movie was written by Clive Barker.
Yes,
which I found to be very, very interesting. And I dug. Okay, I want to see. I want to check with you guys watching this thing. And realize it was like, oh, holy shit, because it came up in the credits. I was like, holy shit, it was written by Clive Barker, 85, 2 years before Hellraiser. And of course, I think 5 or 6 years before Nightbreed.
Mm-hmm.
And I suddenly realized while watching this thing, there's hallmarks of Nightbreed all over this movie.
Oh, absolutely on it. It's almost like Clive Barker is trying stuff out, and sometimes you'll get it in certain movies where people will kind of sprinkle in something just to see if it would work. And it's like actually this really does work, and then you can dive into it like really hard the next time. But I think there's like a little bit of nuggets here and there that you can kind of pick up on.
Absolutely. And it wasn't just the idea. It wasn't just the idea. The idea of the idea of like this mutated civilization living underground, out of sight of normal people, and they have their own kind of. That was expanded greatly in Nightbreed. So that where they actually have their own society, their own culture, their own mythology and everything that they believe in, and living out of sight of human beings. Well, this was like kind of like the earlier sense of this one, and I think there was two things that stood out in this one. The big thing about Clive Barker, and you understand, because we've talked at length in past episodes of Week in Horror about Clive Barker's upbringing, and the fact that he always felt like throughout his formative years, he always felt like an outsider. He was never really himself, because of just who he is, and he never felt like he fit in. So he always felt like one of his creations on the outside. And Nightbreed reflects this the most, that even as an outsider able to find his own society. Well, in Transmutations, you have that kind of same idea, this race of creatures that was created by this unfeeling scientist played by Denholm.
Yeah.
And they require this drug in order to survive. And so they're dependent upon the evil thing that made them, or the thing that they perceive as unjust. So they depend solely upon him. This is kind of his reflection, because Barker had a parochial upbringing. And so in his eyes, his relationship with God being that, why would he make me like this, to feel this way?
In order to chastise me.
But I'm dependent upon him because he's the maker of everything. So I honestly believe that on its face, it may appear like just your classic like evil scientist story.
Right.
I honestly think Transmutations or Underworld, that this was him working out some shit.
You can't look at anything Clive Barker without at first recognizing that it's all self-reflective. Everything, especially in his horror books, that is all self-reflective. That is all how he has dealt with internal conflict. You have to look at it through that lens. If you don't, you're missing half of the movie, or you're missing half of the plot of the story, or the point.
I mean, definitely, because it has to provide some kind of catharsis, some kind of release, because he likes to create the other society. Right. Even when you start going into things like the Hellraiser and the Cenobites and all this other kind of stuff, it's always these people who are outside. There's usually something wrong with them, whether they're mutated or they're cursed or anything like that on it, because most artists, they draw from what they know. And that was something that he could relate to.
And of course, being gay at the time that he was, because he's been gay his whole life, but he wasn't openly gay until the 90s when he was able to accept that part of himself. So this is the 80s. This is him making his way in the industry in the 80s, as a writer and then as a director with Hellraiser.
Right.
And then
go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no one at that time, especially with what was going on with the AIDS epidemic, with the beginning of the AIDS epidemic.
Exactly what I was going to bring up. Yeah,
no one. This is not something that could be openly known. There may have been people who knew, who just kind of kept it secret, because that could have ended his career. So all his life, his parochial upbringing as a child in England, in London. So his religious upbringing, knowing who he was but unable to accept it, rejected by society, no place, being forced to go essentially underground so he could be himself. And you see that coming out, especially in Nightbreed, which is why I think that this is what Transmutations was. Transmutations, and I think someone else was mentioned, Robert Kirkman did the same thing. Yes. Aaron Reese mentioned Robert Kirkman said he loved trying plots that he could never do in the Walking Dead graphic novels by way of the show. I imagine other creators do the same, and absolutely they do. You can see Vince Gilligan. Vince Gilligan was a huge, was obviously the creator of Breaking Bad, creator of Better Call Saul, but for I think 7 years, or maybe even longer, Vince Gilligan was one of the primary writers on the X-Files. And scattered through the X-Files are little bits and pieces of Breaking Bad. So if you if you binge the X-Files and go watch Breaking Bad, you can see the parallels that Vince Gilligan was playing with.
I want to know for the record that I have chosen to leave the obvious Gilligan's Island joke alone. I'm not going to.
It has been noted.
So Aaron Reese also says Barker spent a lot of time with those who engage in an alternative sexual lifestyle, so a lot of his work is hyperbole for those individual situations. Yep. Exactly. The how the
there's a reason why the Cenobites are in BDSM get up. It's not because that looks cool. No, it's because he was trying to say something. He was talking about the reason why that the original Frank, when he appears, comes from under the ground. The symbolism that is all throughout his film, his filmography, and his novels, his novellas. You have to be able to recognize the symbology of what he's putting. Symbology.
What's the symbology there?
And we also have to recognize that he's very good at
Nameology.
There it is. Oh man, we were talking about those movies earlier, so I had to throw that in there.
And I found it. I mean, obviously, this very early incarnation of Clive Barker's, his style and what he was trying to say, and of course the personal things that he was working out, and just kind of this is where he was at. And I love that he was able to, that he found this outlet to express himself in this way until the industry, while being more progressive than most, than most industries, he was able to be openly, he was able to be open about who he actually is, who he is, and say, this is who I am, this is me. Because and still it would be years later. This is 85. It wasn't until the 90s that he was able to actually come out and and say, this is who I am. And I just watching him go through this, and then of course what Nightbreed followed after, when he really got to dive into it and tell, and that, because that you could tell how personal that story was to him. So I found that interesting, this aspect of Clive Barker, but he also touches on something else that Neil Gaiman touched on.
Punch that mic.
Oh, sorry, Neil Gaiman touched on, and that is this film, like Neil Gaiman's work, Neverwhere, is also this idea of this reflection of the British underground, because it's not just a matter of being your underground yourself because you're not accepted by everybody else because you're different. It's also because that whole underground life and everything like that. We were talking about it earlier. How best to put this?
I think it's a reflection of early class system.
Right, exactly. Okay, yeah. When the monarchy was still in power, you had those who lived
in the States, right? We have a similar underground in the States, but we acknowledge it, right? We talk about it. I mean, maybe there was, I don't know, looking at the history of it in the States, but definitely I think in the British underground is a byproduct of the old class system in lords and servants and peasants and whatnot.
And that's where I think where Clive Barker was kind of, it was a reflection of this and what he is saying. I think that's because that mentality, that kind of class system mentality is so ingrained in the history of England that that is their history. That's who they are. And so at one time you had the royal family, you had those who were in power, then you had those that worked their lands, then you had those that were outside of that. And so the idea that now, just like in England, just like here in like Las Vegas and New York, in New York, you have the mole people, the people that live amongst New York's, labyrinth of tunnels and abandoned subway rails, stuff like this. You have the people who live there, the mole people. And then you've got the same thing in Vegas. Vegas has a massive underground, drainage system that is huge. That's part of stable. It was huge.
No. But Aaron Reese said, or just say it: Margaret Thatcher
versus the old crowd. And so these individuals, they make a life for themselves underground. We acknowledge them as Americans. We acknowledge them. We know that they're there. They're essentially a part of the culture. In England, they really don't like to acknowledge them. And just like in Transmutations in Underworld, these creatures, were dependent upon the what was upstairs, the evil scientist who lives above ground, were dependent upon him. But although nobody would acknowledge them, nobody wants to acknowledge the existence of these beings until forced to. And then the same thing goes for Neverwhere. Only in Neverwhere, they pretty much subsist off of the leavings of the upside of the streets above. And even when they come up, even when people from the Neverwhere come up onto the streets, nobody recognizes them or knows them, because they'll just pass right by them, because they don't want to see them.
Well, I mean, if you're going back to the class system where you talk about like feudalism, you have serfs and then you have the lords and all this other kind of stuff. You're not going to have a duke that's going to go interact with the serf on the land. It just doesn't. Right. It just doesn't. It does not happen. Most serfs, they would know the name, but probably could never even meet face to face in a lifetime on it, because even the lower level lords, so you say like a baron or something, they don't want to deal with them. They don't. They're trying to raise their own ranks and their own stock and everything, and they're going to tax the serfs. They're going to get their food from the serfs. They're going to provide all the subsistence that the lords need, but they don't. They legitimately don't want to. They don't want to. We'll acknowledge, but they steam over there. They're dirty. They even made a law where you couldn't, if you were a serf, you couldn't wear expensive clothes so that people could easily identify what class you belong to.
Right.
On it to divide the class even further.
Who's he? I don't know. He must be a king. How can you tell? Because he hadn't got shit all over him.
Exactly.
But yeah, absolutely. I think, and that's why, there was more, even though it's a simple story, and it was a decent story. Transmutations was not a bad little flick. I enjoyed it. It was good, classic, 80s fair kind of evil scientist. I love the evil scientist trope. It's good.
Sarah Velez has brought up Chud a few times, and it does, there you go. Connections between those.
And I did see another one of our patrons jumping in. Saw NA is in the house. It says Margaret Thatcher naked on a cold day.
Margaret Thatcher naked on a cold day. Margaret Thatcher naked on a cold day.
And I'm done. So good to see you, NA. So glad you could make it. And Elizabeth S26 says, nice seeing you. I'll stay till my phone is almost dead. So I hope you can hang with us as long as you can. I do appreciate it, Elizabeth. But yeah, I found it interesting that it's a good little film. It's cute. I like the and Wrote It No Last Name is in the house. Good to see you, Wrote It No Last Name.
Yeah, the Eloy and the
the Morlocks. Going back to the Morlocks, that was H.G. Wells.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I really and being so prevalent in their society, I could see why it would be a big factor, especially amongst writers who kind of feel like I would say you look at their products, what they write about. Individuals definitely feel like outsiders, which both of them expressed that they did. They very much felt that way in their youth, in their formative years. They're always kind of inside their own heads, never really fit in, and this is where their creativity has taken them, by being able to tell stories that reflect, their understanding of the society that they were raised in. And that's why I really dug this movie. It's deeper than it appears once you start really digging into the behind the scenes of it and kind of the inspirations that went into it, the reflections of British culture at the time, especially in the 80s, and then of course the idea, the old classic evil scientist trope. I love evil scientist trope all the way back to, going all the way back to Frankenstein, or the scientist that goes too far or whatever in that respect. I always dig
Frankenstein, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
Right.
Yeah, all those. Yeah, that's an older trope for certain. Everybody's always been afraid of science.
Science is such a mystery. I mean, if you think back on it, religion's been around way longer. We don't have to. We're not going to dive totally into religion thing, but you have that just explain things, and then you have the scientists that come out, and as technology changes, suddenly it becomes scary. Ooh, scientists dealing with electricity, scientists throwing ideas, these theories out there, and as with horror, what if somebody goes too far? That's the question we ask about everything.
All right. Aaron Ray says there was also a pride in being stiff upper lipped, being stiff upper lip proper from buckling down during World War II that carried on for decades. Punk and alt cultures were a direct and oppositional reaction to that and the counterculture rise in the 60s and the 70s here in America as well. Basically just directly opposing the father knows best, leave it to Beaver, kind of mentality of that generation, and just like, no, it doesn't need to be this way. There's no.
That was definitely a bleed over from that British underground, like the punk underground movement that made it over here in the 70s and in New York underground movements. Absolutely.
Well, because I mean, you have time change. You have the system that's been around for almost 1,000 years,
right?
And you did not have a choice. You were poor. You're going to work the land, and
you're poor. You're going to be poor.
Yeah, you're poor. You're always going to be that way. As you have a rise of middle class, and you start getting into the 1900s, where that system is crumbling. The monarch has less power. The dukes are more of a title thing than an actual, like, you raise an army to go do whatever. And so you start getting this new generation they're more educated, and they're going, so I don't want to be poor. I want to do this instead. I don't want to fit into the system. And so you have that huge counterculture that comes in. It's a new people that they don't want to be a part of it.
Right. All right. Sarah Vella says, but even with those, they were never really evil scientists. They had good intentions, but forgot the old adage, just because you can do a thing doesn't mean you should do a thing. Because your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop thinking they should. They should. They always should. Aaron Reese.
No, they should not make dinosaurs. They should not do that. That's not a good idea.
No, don't make dinosaurs. Don't make dinosaurs.
There's 5 movies of why you shouldn't make dinosaurs. And the 6th one is coming out next year.
Yes.
6 movies of why you don't make dinosaurs. Please don't make dinosaurs.
Yeah, they did release the first 5 minutes of the new Jurassic World movie out there. So if you want to go YouTube, you can watch it. First, there's like 5-6 minutes of it.
But I will say, on this particular one, I think people will enjoy it. I dug it. It's well shot, just a well constructed movie. Just classic. Good classic techniques and a fun story. And obviously, when you start digging, this story meant a lot to several people. You could tell that they went full bore on this one. And I liked seeing Denholm in that evil role. Just that kind of like that wildness. I like seeing actors step out of their shells and doing stuff like that, and knowing that this came from Clive Barker was really, really important. So I dug that. I really did. So definitely check this out.
Yeah, which I really want to ask the audience: who is your favorite evil scientist? There's so many out there on it, whether it could be a scientist who maybe have good intentions and then all of a sudden they kind of get drifted towards evil, or maybe they're just evil from the get-go and they just don't give a fuck. Who is your favorite evil scientist?
Kevin Bacon.
From Hollow Man?
That's like a Hollow Man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He takes that nosedive.
Like, oh yeah. This is why we don't do human experimentation. This is why we don't do it. We do not just jump to human trials. my
favorite works on the fucking. If it didn't work on the goddamn gorilla, why the fuck we doing it on Kevin Bacon?
My favorite is probably always going to be Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I've always dug the duality of human beings, and I like that. Aaron Reese brought up Herbert West. Yes, Herbert West from Reanimator. He's a close second. Because that's the example of just because I can doesn't mean I should. But I always like just with Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, it was about the duality of humanity.
Yep.
And that's where it's exploring that. You know, we can do
The
one
fact that
thing.
The monster is inside of you.
Yeah, right. That's
always been, yeah.
And I always dug that concept, and that was huge to me. So we got some other ones. What about yours, Eugene?
I'm gonna have to go a little bit more of a comedic route and Dr. Strangelove.
Oh, okay.
That is because he has some of the best moments. I love the part where it's like, Fuhrer, I can walk, and he has to like put his hand down. And I love at the very end where they're just like, you know, where they kind of like they're all sad and depressed, and it's like, well, you know, this is it. The doomsday machine's going to go off. And he's like, but think about it, we have to repopulate the earth, and all the politicians are like, we're going to have to use young, supple women to repopulate the earth. Absolutely. And he sells the entire room on the idea that it's okay to let the world in.
All right. Got some other ones. Travis Brown got some love for Herbert West, and Aaron Reese well, or love for Herbert West. Either one, Aaron Reese book or movie, doesn't matter. And NA says Willy Wonka.
That was the precursor to Snowpiercer.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Jinju says Dr. Moreau or Mandark. It's a toss-up. Interesting. Tony Regime says Dr. Phoebes. And Chris Darmuccio says Dr. Bob.
Dr. Bob.
Robert Cazzo says Frankenstein. Yep. Sarcasm. Nice. There's some Herbert West love. Reanimator Rocks. Absolutely. A bunch of good ones. Really, really good ones. Who is that? And it was Sarah Velez says. Sarah Velez says The Island of Dr. Moreau, played by Marlon Brando. And Anna says that guy was fucked. Travis Brown says Doc Ock from Spider-Man 2. Though not a horror film, but absolutely, because that film was amazing. But yes, Alfred Molina was amazing as Dr. Octopus. The power of the sun in my hand. So yeah.
Dr. Joseph Hyder.
Oh.
From the Centipede. That was
yeah.
Aaron Reese, Dr. Goldfoot with his amazing bikini machine. Jinju says I gotta change my vote to Dexter from Dexter's Lab.
Such a great cartoon.
That was a good cartoon. Good stuff. Fantastic stuff. All right.
Okay.
Is it time for the stupidest movie on this list? So stupid. This movie is so stupid.
Which is interesting because your opinion differs from a lot of people's opinions on this.
I think so, but let's just do it. Here we go. 1987, we saw a movie. Well, you probably didn't see this movie, but the movie, The Video Dead, came out. It's a horror film written and directed by Robert Scott, starring Roxanne Aguasen. The screenplay concern, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. So unsolicited television is delivered to somebody's house. This television acts as a portal for zombies to come into the real world. Yes, that's the real plot of the movie. I'm not making this up. Yeah, you got to let that. So zombies come out of this movie, but they don't think they're zombies. They think they're just weird-looking people, I guess, but they can't stand the sight of themselves in the mirror. I wish I were making this up. This sounds like a really bad fever dream, and I think this is exactly what it was.
Your reaction to it is hilarious. Okay, so look. Okay, okay, you've poisoned the well so badly.
Did I just describe the movie?
Okay, no. Okay, hang on a sec. Yeah, you kind of described the movie. How about the movie could be described as this as well?
Let's hear your
supernatural television.
Hang on a second. Let's hear your fucking fairy tale unicorn fart version of this.
A supernatural television is unwittingly delivered to a home. The television plays a never-ending movie called Zombie Blood Nightmare. And also acts as a portal for the ghouls within to enter our world.
How is that any different than what I said? It still sucks.
Eugene? Who's doing your trailer here? Who's writing your copy?
No.
Come on.
Yeah, you're doing
Come
the trailer.
on.
You're doing the trailer because yours sounds veiled. Mine, I'm being honest. Like this movie sucks.
Okay, there are things that I like to
There's too much. Olaf would like to point out there's too much hesitation in this conversation.
There are some like decent moments, like when you see them actually coming through the TV, and it has like great.
The special effects are good. The makeup
effects are really good. I love the way they come out on TV, and you have like lightning bolts and all those other kinds of stuff on it. I don't know if I could describe it to make it good. Like,
I mean, just think of it this way, right? So you're at school, and one of your buddies comes and says, "Hey man, I saw this really cool movie, right? It's a movie about this television where zombies come out of it." And you're like, "Why do the zombies come out of the television?" I don't know.
Because it's supernatural TV.
It's supernatural TV.
That's it.
Okay, so do the zombies eat flesh? Not once throughout the entire movie.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. When they eat themselves.
No. When she has the dream about the zombie eating her hand.
Yeah, but that's a dream, so it's not really the zombie doing it. Okay.
And then one of the zombies eats the other zombie because they go crazy and they eat each other.
Yeah. Well, oh wait, how do they defeat them? How do they defeat the zombies? They put them in a room together.
They lock them in a small space. That's what the Harbinger says.
I know, but even the Harbinger is stupid.
Yes. Okay. This is what got me. So I will say this up front. The acting in this movie is terrible. It's just
that would be
awful.
An improvement on the acting of
this acting is awful. Okay, but then again, the script was awful. The line delivery in this is just
I can't completely blame the actors because if this was a script that was given to them, there's a very difficult way to deliver these. I can't think of a natural way to deliver.
But also the acting was bad because it's almost like they're like there and they're just like action and they just like said the line. Like it was just kind of like it was wooden across the board. And when they want to like scream and go above and beyond, like to actually emote, it's always just way too high.
Yes,
they just like like increasing your volume does not increase your emotive capability. But
somebody said
the zombies itself, I will say there were some moments. There's some moments in this movie that I think makes it underrated. Not with the first and foremost, the zombies were hilarious, and they were unintentionally hilarious because they were doing funny things, like they did funny shit, and I enjoyed that.
Well, they were laughing at themselves as they were killing people.
Right? Okay. The zombie coming up out of the washing machine, that was great. I didn't expect that shit. I was kind of just like, you think it's something like so to make a machine, and then all of a sudden she opens it up and like, "Whoa!" And I was like, okay, that is awesome. Using the same trick that they did with the television, because at one point the television's on the stand, it starts shaking and everything. The lightning comes out of it, and then it falls over, and then the smoke starts pouring out of it, and then they start like coming bodily out of the TV. For this year, that was pretty cool. I dug that though, because that's neat. And then, although the girl comes out with this, there were so many fuck ups. There's so many cock ups. Like I don't know what the purpose of the girl was. The hot chick comes out.
Hot chicks that come out to seduce a 16-year-old dude who really was 16 at the time.
Yeah, who was 16 years old, and then is like kissing him and everything. And she's butt ass naked. She's like straight naked, and then she like goes back into the TV, and then gets killed by a guy, and there was a bunch of weird shit. But what the other thing that got me was I did not expect that to happen in the obviously it was a good twist when the Harbinger gets killed because they didn't kill the bride, and the bride like stabs him through the back. I was like, the Harbinger's dead. The kid's gonna have to do it himself now, and he's running away. And then he pulls out the machete and then goes after her, and then you don't jump into the chainsaw. What are you doing? So the hero gets smoked. Look, I didn't expect that. So at least it took.
I didn't expect it to take so long.
I will say this that at least the film did some things that were unexpected. You didn't see these things.
That doesn't necessarily make it a good thing.
I wouldn't say. I think they did things that other filmmakers did. They took this concept that had been around for a minute, and they would just try to do something new with it.
No, I'll give them that. The experimentation there, that I mean, I will give them credit for trying to experiment with a genre that had been around for 20 years, and they were trying to inject new life into it. Okay, that's cool. The execution was shit.
It was not great. The camera work was pretty off. The coloring, the color correction was terrible. Everything was terrible.
They took really good special effects because this movie it had great special effects.
The zombies look good.
The zombies look good. Even the television thing, the way they came out, everything was done. That was good. But then you put in this everything else is just not. It's just bad, and it ruins it. It's like a waste of really good special effects talent. Like if I'm a special effects guy and I got a resume, and that's on my resume, I'm like, here, look, I only want you to watch this scene. And by this scene, I mean like the first 10 seconds where you see my work, and then fuck off the rest of the movie.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is the special effects people, they bring it.
Yes.
They bring it. They like, and I just felt like the director didn't. Like, it was just, like I said, it was just being stilted. A lot of things that just didn't make sense. I didn't like the color grade. It just
color grade is just off. Yeah.
It felt really cheap.
Well, that's weird. It worked for the zombies, but didn't work for everyone else.
I think that was a problem. Is they made it to work for the zombies.
That may have been intentional.
Yeah.
They probably, what they did was like focus on the zombies, and then they put it on all, because the way they did, if this was shot on film, the way you color film back in the day is you actually used color like dye. You would actually color the actual film strip, and it could have been like they watched a section of it, we're like, that's good, and just slap it on everything. Because when they're out in the woods towards the very end, it did not look good.
It looks horrible.
It looked like a college film.
It looked everything looked like, kind of like washed out, like just the exposed, like it was just way, like everything was way overexposed, and until they got indoors, and then everything was just too dark. So there was no detail. But then again, it's a zombie movie about zombies that come out of a supernatural television. So I mean, are we meant to expect more?
Yeah.
Something you can put some work into a zombie film.
Just at least do your fucking jobs.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, gosh, they had money in this movie. They had to have some sort of a decent budget into this film because again, the special effects were on point. That's just not cheap. That's just not cheap.
Those are full, and they're full body zombies.
Yeah, it's not like they just put a little thing here, little thing here, there. Yeah, right. They took their time. Whoever designed those zombies put like attention. You could tell they had passion in that project. It just seems like a slap in the face to those people.
I wonder if like the director was maybe a special effects artist. And then he's like, I could direct it, so he just can nail like that point really well. And like everything else, because there's some really bad camera movements.
It's not great.
Really, like pans where it's like
it's all jerky. Yeah.
Did you not?
Like he goes too far. He goes too far, and they're gonna bring it back. And
it has to recorrect. It's like, did you not practice this? Did you not at least walk through the scene before you shot it? It's like no. We got to go.
Yeah.
We don't have permits to be on this land. We got to get it done.
We got to shoot a 30-minute scene out in the woods, right?
Exactly,
we have 2 hours to do it.
All right. Old man Johnson's left. He's off the property. Go.
Yeah, guerrilla filming. Yeah, it's just this movie could have been so much better than it was. And again, it's just there's just so many things that just missed. So many things that missed. I know you won't. No. I
will say obviously the zombies are a standout. The effect, a lot more money, a lot more effort went into the effects than anything else. I did like the obligatory, it's not over scene because they do the setup. The girl's traumatized. She traps the zombies in the basement and she puts a mirror. The mirror concept was kind of interesting.
Yeah,
there's a mirror on the inside of because the zombies are repelled by mirrors, so mirrors have like turn undead
because they don't like
the look of themselves, right? Yeah. And so she traps them in the basement. There's a mirror on the basement door, so they can't break through because they won't approach it. So when the zombies get trapped in the confined space, they then turn on each other and they eat each other. And so then, of course, she's all traumatized. Everyone's dead, and she like passes out. She wakes up. Her parents find her. She wakes up in the hospital, and her parents are there, and they're like, "Oh, thank God you're okay." And she's like, "Oh, all PTSD'd." And he's like, "Well, we have to go. We're gonna leave you here to rest, and we brought something for you." And
of all the things they could bring.
And they bring the supernatural television to the hospital, and they turn it on for as they're walking out the door.
You would have to make a concentrated effort, to go to the house that she was in, but she's not in that house anymore, right? Not in that house anymore. Go downstairs to the basement, find this TV, be like, hey, I think the daughter that's mentally fucked up right now could use this television in her hospital room.
It's so great.
Pick that shit up, take it with you to the hospital, carry that fucker in, and be like, hey, here you go, baby.
You gotta keep on. This is an 80s television set.
Right.
They're heavy, they're big, it's bulky, it's like let's go ahead, let's pick up this huge thing. And like the hospital's gonna be like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Wow. The hospital's like, yeah, TV. Yeah, we don't have those here. Come on, bring it
in. It was good stuff. I mean, I that's why it was entertaining to say the least. I will say that. There were a couple of things, but yeah, there was. I think that was I enjoyed that. There were aspects I enjoyed of it. The one that got the iron in the head was pretty hilarious. But the way people died in this was beyond silly. It was just goofy as hell. And like I said, Eugene, why didn't they do their job? Why didn't they do their job? You have a job to do. They obviously
I don't know. I'm guessing they had one. So you in terms of film stock, you get different sensitivities based off of ISO. And so you would use like a less sensitive during the day and more sensitive at like a night scene or something. I'm guessing they bought one stock and just
probably
right. So Sarah Vella has asked an interesting question. Do you think that they could redo this movie today and actually make it palatable?
Yes, but you would have to give a shit. You know what I mean? You would have to really care. And it's going to take more than just cool special effects. Obviously.
I mean, it starts out interesting enough. I mean, the TV gets delivered to some nobody. Like the crate shows up, and it was like because it was a mixed up shipping label.
Yeah,
and even the delivery drivers have the exposition of like, they keep if they keep screwing up, they're concerned that they may be out of a job if the distribution or the shipping center keeps switching up the damn labels. They keep screwing it up. And we keep having to do this. So there's some decent exposition there. And then, the whole thing was like, we're delivery guys, not wake because they keep having to go to this guy's house in the morning. And the premise is good. The guy was delivered the TV by mistake. He like opened it and was like, what the hell? Screw it. And then the TV starts showing this one movie. And it's the only movie it gets. And then, of course, the zombies come out and then they kill him. So,
yeah, right. I don't know if that pure concept can be done today just because of the way TVs are. Just a blank like flat screen TV doesn't have like a scary aesthetic than say the old wooden TV from the 80s or 90s or something like that. Like if you mean it's like, okay, you get a Walmart 40-inch flat screen TV on it. So it's like if you did like a video scary, well, that's already been done before. Or if you did a website that was scary that people visited, that's already been done before.
And the ring pretty much with any television.
Yeah,
I
think people would see it as like a Ring knockoff because the Ring just did it so well. Like you would have to go into a kind of a comedic element, like maybe keep the same tone as Video Dead. Keep that same tone in it, so it's still kind of funny and some outlandish kills. Maybe you might be able to get away with it, but the Ring capitalized on the video.
They kind of did something similar where I forget what the name of the zombie film was, but it was a B film at best, but it followed these teenagers that didn't realize that they were zombies. So that was pulled and redone. What the hell is the name of that movie though? I cannot remember the name of it.
I don't know.
It follows a group of they see themselves as regular people, but everybody else sees them as zombies.
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
I'm telling it's like giving this thing a B film is being
Z grade.
Yeah. B for zombie. Anyway, so we've been talking about 80s zombies films, right? 80s zombies films. That doesn't sound right. Sounds bad grammar.
80s 80s zombie films.
There we go. Yeah,
we talk about 80s zombie films.
Yeah, no S in the zombies.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. That'll be 10 demerits.
And you will stay after class.
You will stay after class. Yeah. I will not double plural. So anyway, we're talking about the films of the 80s, zombie films specifically. I want to know, what's your favorite 80s zombie film? Let us know. weekinhorror@gmail.com. Side comments, side chat, comments below, some bullshit. Just tell me. Just tell me what it is. What is it? Eugene, what's yours?
Favorite 80s
80s
zombie film?
Yeah.
I'll probably have to go.
Aaron Reese, you got it. It's Zombies. Yes, that's the one.
Oh, Zombies. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I was just thinking, like, because Dawn of the Dead came out early 80s, right?
I thought that was 70s.
Or was that
Dawn of the Dead was 70s, yeah.
Dawn of the Dead
78, right?
Because Night of the Living Dead was 68.
That was 68.
Yeah.
I would have to look up, because that was the first movie that came to mind too.
Yeah.
Mine for the 80s, Return of the Living Dead.
Yeah.
When they bust open the door and the all like melted one comes out and is like brave and you don't get better. You don't get better than that shit.
That whole movie, I remember when I first watched it, I think, why the fuck are these zombies talking?
Why the hell is she getting legit head to toe butt ass naked in a fucking graveyard?
Yeah.
Wait. I don't care.
When you win the lottery, you don't ask why.
You just cash that ticket in.
Aaron Reese, all hail the Tar Man. Brave. Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, that zombie looked badass. This is one of my favorite songs.
The pain.
I just like that concept. It's like, why do you eat brains? It's like the pain.
Yeah.
I always thought that was an interesting concept.
What I didn't like about that is you couldn't kill the zombies, no matter what.
Sarcasm. Send more paramedics.
Send more cops. Send more cops.
Send more cops. Okay. Robert Caslo's I think he's barely following along. Who got butt ass naked? Who did?
You told me to cook while listening to the podcast, and I'm missing parts.
All right. But yes, definitely let us know in the comments below or at weekinhorror@gmail.com. What is your favorite 1980s zombie movie?
Hey, JL, what I want you to do for the rest of the show is to say the exact same thing that I do.
You didn't say that part.
Yes, I did.
No, you actually didn't.
Yes, I actually did. I'll bet you.
That mean what?
Cthulhu there. I'll bet you Cthulhu there. I'll say all that. Versus
no, because I'm human and I make mistakes. No, because I'm human and I make mistakes. Either I'm right or I'm wrong.
What do we got up next, JL?
I'll bet you're wrong. No, I absolutely could be wrong. I totally could be wrong. I'm not that shit. I throw myself on the mercy of the court. If I fucked up, we'll just fix it in post.
Damn it.
Oh, yes. Well, our third film up tonight is
the second worst film on this.
I've been looking forward to talking about this one. So, released December 2nd, 1988. I was 8 years old. Is the film Watchers. So, directed by John Hess, based on the novel by Dean Koontz, written by Damian Lee and Bill Freed, starring Corey Haim, Barbara Williams, Michael Ironside, and Lala.
Michael Ironside.
Michael Ironside.
He was an 80s. He was a 80s and early 90s staple of movies.
I'm the perfect killing machine.
Rico, you know what to do.
Yeah.
You know what to do. So, okay. So, first and foremost, I love the novel that this is based on. Oh, yeah. Let me break this down. So, based on the novel by Dean Koontz, for those who have not seen this particular film, the movie centers around two genetic experiments that escape from a laboratory. A hyper-intelligent golden retriever who is telepathically connected to this bioweapon, this biological, weapon. What they call the Oxcom. And the Oxcom's goal is to try and kill the dog as part of the bioweapons experiment of this company. They both escape, and it becomes necessary and the dog winds up in the care of Corey Haim. They wind up on the run from this monster and the psychopathic assassin sent to reclaim them both. And Michael Ironside plays that crazy assassin. So the book that this was based on was amazing. This movie was not amazing. It did some interesting things with the dog. I thought there was some cool stuff that they did with the dog. It was a very well-trained golden retriever. The typing scene with the dog picks up the pencil and types, that was pretty neat because that puppet looked really, really good. But I was still trying to hash out because this thing starts out as a drama, as like a sci-fi drama. The kid with the mom and the dad is dead, so and so, and then gets the dog on the run from the bad guys. And then it turns into Predator, which came out 2 years before this movie in 86, because they go up to the cabin in the woods to make a last stand. And I realized, oh, wow, it's sort of following the book. And then, then it turns into fucking Predator with an actual like arming up scene done by Corey Haim of like License to Drive fame. Corey Haim goes through a sequence where he's arming up to do battle with the monster. I swear they stole scenes directly from Predator.
Sure.
I was like, I forgot this was a fucking. It literally
turns
into
the only
Predator.
thing that we were missing from Corey Haim was him covering himself in mud.
Right.
Yeah.
So I will. I mean. What a misstep. I mean, I've seen bad adaptations, but
well, let me ask you this: do you think that the reason why it was bad was because of the casting of Corey Haim? Because he can't act; he's not a good actor.
No,
he was good at Lucas, but that's about it.
He was one of the ones who was really kind of drifting on his looks. He was a teen heartthrob, right. So he doesn't need to act; he just needs to be Corey Haim,
right?
Or whatever the public imagined him as.
Right.
Putting him in this movie was a big misstep. That was bad. That was I would say it was one of the few movies that he should not have been in. Yeah. License to Drive, that was right up his alley. The other films that like The Little Brother in Lost Boys, perfect for him. But this one as a lead, as like a leading man, it was like he's the leading man. No, he had no business this. Yeah, he should have gone the Keanu Reeves, Heath Ledger route where you start doing teen dramas and start being the leading man that way, where I'm the guy that everybody looks up to. I'm, or whatever. I'm the conflicted youth or whatever. Go that route. Don't try to be the action guy because he was not the action guy.
Yeah. It's not believable.
No.
At
all.
Whatsoever.
Yeah. So a few years earlier, you got this scene of this Corey Haim getting that fucking muscle rubbed on his balls. And now he's the action star? No.
Yeah, not feeling it. It was one thing that Robert Castle, he went after the monster and put him down Old Yeller style. He pretty much did. He pretty much just puts him down Old Yeller style. This was, I've seen bad adaptations. Book adaptations are always dicey. And this book, Watchers, is, as far as like books with horror elements, because Dean Koontz is known for one thing. One, his books usually have happy endings. They usually have positive endings, unlike like King or other horror writers. Dean Koontz likes happy endings, and Dean Koontz, this book Watchers, like cemented him as a best-selling author. The book is absolutely amazing. It's one of my favorite reads, my favorite fiction reads ever. The thing, it's just absolutely amazing. The dog, everything about it was just great, and unfortunately, this one fell flat. And the big thing on this, and we're going to talk about this in a second, because obviously this thing, the book like Watchers is like, this is obviously nobody can see it, but the book Watchers is actually very, very long. There's a lot. It's a huge book.
Yeah.
It's very thick.
Probably should have been 2 books.
This could have been a mini series.
Yeah.
To get all the details in.
Yeah.
So that was one big problem. So the fact that they're adapting a book, Commander Darklight, Corey Haim was like Elvis, couldn't act. They just got Elvis to sing his lines, pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one, as far as adaptations go, was bad. But I think, and we can really, really talk about this, and we have a lot of love for Roger Corman here. But Roger Corman got his hands on this franchise, and I actually blame Roger Corman for this. Because if you look at it, and there were 4 films in this franchise. Watchers 2, Watchers 3, and Watchers Reborn. 4 movies. And I think I think Mark Hamill was in Watchers Reborn. But I blame Roger Corman for this because Roger Corman's career was made on cheap, low-budget horror films for schlock reasons. That's what it was. And he took this, what should have been an amazing adaptation that could have been amazing, and put the Roger Corman stamp on it. The Roger Corman effect. I'll give it that. This is what you get. Unfortunately, I don't know who optioned the rights to this. Who allowed that to happen? But I'm gonna blame. I personally am gonna blame Roger Corman for this.
I think that's fair on it. When it comes to book adaptations are very, very hard to do from the get-go on it. And I'm trying to find positive things about this. I am. I'm really trying. The dog is beautiful, by the way. I do love the dog.
Oh, the dog is fantastic.
Yeah, the dog is fantastic. Definitely the best actor. Oh,
the dog was the best actor of the bunch.
Yeah,
that's really was. Well, I mean, you had the dog, and then you had Michael Ironside. It's just he just doing
Michael Ironside playing Michael Ironside.
Michael Ironside, just doing classic Michael Ironside. It's pretty much it, and then he's like, "Yeah, I'm the third experiment." And he's like, "Oh God, Michael, come on, dude! Just ham, so much ham."
This is the thing.
Pronounced ham.
Huh?
It's pronounced.
Oh no, no, it's Corey Ham. There was all ham.
Yeah, all
and
ham.
I think you guys would agree that this is the Corman effect. I love Roger Corman. I love his stuff. I love his Poe stuff. But Corman focuses on low budget material, low budget schlock, ultra violence and TNA.
It's because it's cheap. I mean, that's the whole thing. It's cheap. If you're going to make them, it is easier to make a $5 million film than it is to make a $50 million film.
Right.
There's less expectation.
Yeah, there's less expectation because if he does a bunch of $3 to $5 million films and then they make $10 million in the box office, you are successful.
Right.
You are a successful profiting director and guaranteed you will get another film off.
Yeah. So think about it this way. A film is not considered successful if it doesn't at least the very minimum double its budget.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about a $50 million film, now you got to make $100 million at the box office versus a $5 million film. You can fart your way to $10 million. You could accidentally get $10 million and $5 million.
If you pick a good release date where there's nothing coming to theaters and people are just bored and they want to go see something, you pick a good release date, you will accidentally at least make the budget back on the first.
Exactly.
Chris Durham. Wait, you woke me up. Roger Corman? Yes, we were talking about Roger Corman. There's a lot of love for Roger Corman here. Aaron Reese brings up Roger Corman did bad movies, while Lloyd Kaufman does good bad movies. And it's true, but I like some of Roger Corman's work. I love Roger Corman's Poe cycle. I love the films he's turned out because when I'm watching a Roger Corman movie, I know what I'm expecting. Now, Roger Corman executive produced this one, and so he wasn't fully in charge, but you could smell Roger Corman all over this. He was you could feel it's like this feels like a Roger Corman production, like legit. And then it's very obvious in the direct-to-DVD releases after this, where the monster got even cheaper looking, and it's just and this is the Roger Corman effect. This book didn't deserve that. So I don't know if it was Dean Koontz needed the money, because this was a New York Times bestseller for I think for quite a while. I don't know if he needed the money. I don't know what happened here. I don't know if his agent simply optioned it out. I have no clue. Dean Koontz himself says he hates the damn movie. I think he's only watched it once and he will never watch it again. I'm not sure, but I do know that this was a waste. I mean, it was an absolute waste. And it was Travis Brown. Can you smell it? How can you smell it? From his sweat? His influence, Sarah Velez is correct. His influence is undeniable. If you look at Roger Corman's style, Roger Corman has a very specific style. You say, this looks like a Corman film. You know, if you watch Humanoids from the Deep, there was a Showtime remake of Humanoids from the Deep that was produced by Roger Corman, and you put the two side by side, like, that is a Roger Corman movie. Now, even if you didn't know, you'd be like, just from the look of it, yeah.
Oh, I'm curious, and I'm pretty sure the chat would know. Is this the first book to film adaptation by Dean Koontz? Because maybe if it's not, it may not be. But if it's the first one, he may have just gotten excited. Oh, somebody who has made movies wants to make a movie of my book, yeah, and kind of signs on board, gets super excited about it, and then it's like, oh.
Yeah. That, I mean, and maybe it was just like with early King stuff. You think about some of King's adaptations. Because sometimes the book adaptation is okay. Here's an interesting thing: the book adaptations are either going to get an intense amount of love and support, right, or they get none whatsoever.
Sorry, I think The Passengers was his first one.
Was Passengers?
Okay, because it was in '77.
But you look at it. You either get an intense amount of love and dedication and devotion from the studio to make the best possible adaptation you can, or you get none, like none at all. So, and it seems like the majority of the time they get none. They just try to like, look, we're optioning the rights for it, fuck it. And, just do what you can with it. Turn it from a book into a screenplay and then go shoot it. So there you go. And then, of course, but then you have like major adaptation. Maybe it's just if the book is old, maybe if it's like classic literature, it gets the love. Contemporary literature just doesn't. I have no idea.
I think it just comes down to just being a fan of, even if it's a book that's new, somebody who's a fan of it, who's read it multiple times, who's going to study and have the nuances of the book, is going to do a much, much, much better job versus somebody who gets tasked to do, because sometimes that happens. Sometimes you'll have a director who works for a studio and the studio got the rights and like, boom, you're up. You're going to make this film.
Right.
And they're like, I don't want to. Too bad. You're going to make it anyway. And
contractually obligated.
Yeah, right. You're contractually obligated to. So what they're going to do, they're going to cut corners. They're going to have somebody read the book for them. And it just kind of summarize. Like if you watch the old Dune movie, the old Dune movie looks like someone else read that book and then gave a brief synopsis to the director. He made a movie off that.
Right.
A copy of a copy.
Yeah, a copy of
a copy. Brown, that's not true. Demon Seed came out April 1st, where The Passengers came out March 9th. So Passengers is his first.
Oh, Robert Castle says, I actually loved The First Watchers, mainly because the protagonist didn't act stupid. Non-stupid protagonists make movies better. I will agree with this.
Yeah. I like smart protagonists.
They ran when they needed. Yeah, they ran when they needed to run. And they were going to make our stand. And we're going to.
They got into the running car.
Right.
Yeah.
So yes, the non-protagonists are good. It is really. Let's see. Nerd Journal says, didn't Koontz try to sue to have his name removed from one of the movies made about one of his books, Hideout? Maybe he may have. I know Stephen King also dealt with that at one point
with
Lawnmower Man.
Yeah.
Yep.
That do not. So, that's why now it's just called the Lawnmower Man. It originally was called Stephen King's Lawnmower Man. Stephen King said, "The fuck it is."
The fuck it is. So, whatever happened behind the scenes in order to turn this one into a shitstorm, and whatever fucking lazy writing, the writer on this, the actual screenwriter on this, Bill Fried and Damian Lee. So Damian Lee, a Canadian film director, notable for films such as Abraxas, Guardian of the Universe, No Exit, Ski School.
He wrote Abraxas?
Yeah, he wrote Abraxas.
Oh, that movie's so bad. That movie is bad.
But I'm surprised that nobody was like nobody was watching this movie or reading the script to see like, did you just take like the whole third act from Predator? Did you just like steal like all of Shane Black's script? Because it's essentially what he did.
We were missing a Billy, and that's it. If you put a Billy, if we had Billy in there, half naked Indian.
So yeah, unfortunately, it could have been a lot better. It should have been a lot better. A lot more love should have been played to this because this was a beloved book. I absolutely adore this one. I go back every few years and I revisit it. How they depict the golden retriever in the book is amazing. You just fall in love with it in the book. The characters are great. You get and they're flawed. I mean, that's one thing Dean Koontz is excellent about. Because number one, this movie starred Corey Haim. That was a waste. Total miscasting. In the book, the protagonist is a discharged serviceman, ex Delta Force, and suffering from the effects of PTSD and depressed, coming down on himself. All of the friends he's lost in combat, all of the people that he can't that are gone out of his life, and just like he's down on himself. And in this worst moment, that's when he encounters the dog and the monster. And so through the process of saving the dog, through the process of, going through this, he kind of finds himself again. It's a beautiful story. It's so beautifully written. And along the way, you pick up, the female protagonist who herself is going through her own shit. I love how deep these are. And if this were to be, I was sitting here thinking about it. And this is one thing I want to ask the audience. If this film were to reboot it, I was thinking about a possible reboot. I want to ask the audience, do you think this movie could be rebooted? If actual money were put towards a legitimate adaptation that took the source material seriously from someone who truly loved it and knew what they were doing, do you think that could happen? Or do you think that this is just a wash? Do you think that's just waste? Because I was thinking about a reboot, and I thought Henry Cavill would be fantastic in the lead.
Henry Cavill, yeah. I think Muschietti could do it. The Muschietti twins or siblings. Directorial and production wise, I think they could do it because they did good work with Stephen King adaptation of It, which is a longer novel, so 2 parts to it. I think that if you're going to do The Watchers, you've got to break it up into like 2 movies,
2 parts.
Yeah, it's just so much there, so much going on, and it's not like throwaway stuff. There's really a lot of important information that happens in that novel.
And I was thinking, much more work could be done on the monster to make it really, really horrific. I mean, hell, the monster in Rutger Hauer's Split Second with Rutger Hauer, that monster was fantastic. Just do something, something along those lines. And then just more effort, more love should be shown in this. And I just kept, as I was thinking about this adaptation, if they were to reboot this thing, I could see Henry Cavill in this role. Ex-Delta Force member, he can do real emotive acting. The guy's fantastic. He's a brilliant actor. I love everything he does. He can do that kind of like dark and brooding down on yourself kind of moments. And then you get to see Henry Cavill and a super smart golden retriever be the leads in this week. I can see that. I think that would be awesome. But unfortunately, if they go to remake this, it's going to cast like the fucking Rock or something.
Can you smell what the Rock is cooking?
Nope.
Golden retriever.
You just fed the dog green beans.
No, that was Will Smith who fed the dog green beans.
So yeah, let us know. Let us know in the comments below, or of course here in the live chat, if you think that this is a franchise that could be rebooted, that someone could come back with the money and the love for the source material to really make a decent adaptation of Watchers. I think it deserves it. It's been a long time since the 4th one came out. At least, I mean, that was back when Mark Hamill was I can't remember what year that 4th one come out. Early late 90s or early 2000s. I think
2001, wasn't it?
2001.
I think
so. 20 years ago. So yeah, I'm thinking Watchers Reborn. Also is 1998.
Oh, okay.
1998. Okay.
So
I mean, the thing is absolutely just because I'm tired of them remaking good movies. We already have a good movie that already exists, but why not take good stories that turned into bad movies and remake those?
Those are the ones, yeah. If you're gonna do a remake, you know what I mean? Do a remake of a shitty movie of a good story,
on it. That's honestly, that's the way. That way, people can actually enjoy the story.
Right. So I'm thinking that it could. I just think the right people have got the right person or the right screenwriter, the right director's got to get a hold of it. I think it would be really, really cool. Yes. So definitely let us know. All right, we got one more to talk about, and I'm so glad
we're moving out of the 80s.
We're finally moving out of the 80s. We've been in the 80s for a minute. But yes, I'm glad I gave this one to you, Eugene. So take it away. What's the last one we've got?
I could talk about the acting performances alone and how bad it was.
Was it bad?
This was some of the fakest acting I've seen in this quality of a movie. But anyways,
I can counter. I think I can counter some of that, but feel free. Go ahead and introduce it.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and introduce it. And so the final movie is we have Office Killer that was released December 3rd, 1997. It was directed by Cindy Sherman, and it stars Carol Kane, David Thornton, Molly Ringwald, Janelle Trippenhorn, and Barbara Sakua?
Barbara Sukawa.
Yeah. Sukawa on that one. And I mean, basically what happens is that you have a girl who works in an office and she goes on a complete murder spree. And shit gets real. I mean, that's it.
Yeah, she definitely descends it.
Right? She's got to work her own filing paperwork, and then she's like, fuck this shit, I'm gonna kill everybody.
Yeah, they end up firing like a lot of people, and she gets fired, so she goes on like a murder spree.
Well, she doesn't get fired. She got sent to part-time to work from home.
Right.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
That's why Michael Imperioli's that was surprising was the cast on this one. Because you've got, like I said, you've got Carol Kane, Molly Ringwald, Jean Triplehorn, but there's also Michael Imperioli was in this. She was the librarian from Ghostbusters. Alice Drummond. Alice Drummond was in this. There's a bunch of recognizable faces throughout the entire film. Like you see them, and you go, "Holy shit! Oh shit!" Yeah. So a bunch of faces.
Hey that guy. Hey that girl. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And so, and Eric Bogosian, who played her father. But I actually want to challenge what Eugene said when he prefaced this. I thought Carol Kane, one of the queens of black comedy, I thought that she did pretty solid with this.
I was sitting there and I was watching this, and like she was not bad, but it felt like, especially like Molly Ringwald, it felt like she was phoning it in.
I think the problem with Molly Ringwald is this is such a departure from what she normally played, right? Because she wasn't mean in 16 Candles.
That's not who she was. Yeah, she's the John Hughes darling.
Right. And now it's just fuck this, fuck that, whatever, you know what I mean? It was such a drastic change for her character type.
It's like
I've never heard the girl drop so many F-bombs in my life.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is it's completely against her type. And I like it when actors play against her type.
Yep.
And it's like when they play against her type, they have to take risks. And I felt like she did not take any risks. And there was just this lack of direction. Like actors a lot of times will be on default. So they'll read the script and they're going to go, this is my default setting. And they hope the director can kind of tweak them to what it actually needs to be. And I feel like the director never, like Cindy Sherman, never tweaked it.
Cindy Sherman never said, hey, Molly, this is not Pretty in Pink.
Well, she was salty as fuck. Yes, Ronell's name says Carol Kane was the fairy in Scrooge. She was the violent fairy in Scrooge. She was fantastic. And she was the witch wife in Princess Bride.
Now you're on somebody that's not a horror film.
And then of course, I know Annie Potts was in Ghostbusters, but but Anne Drummond was the Alice Drummond
was the librarian.
Was the very, very beginning. Yes, was the librarian who was scared, who was walking through the stacks and encountered the ghost. Yeah. She opened the movie.
Yeah.
So tell me,
Nichols.
Have you been menstruating lately? what has that got to do with
it? Back off, man. I'm a scientist.
Back off, man. So, but I mean, it's a host of faces, but I really enjoy it because Carol Kane, she's very much black comedy, very much because Johnny was pointing it out. You don't expect it from someone like her. She's she's such a little mouse.
Yeah,
she's cute, and I always thought the fairy in Scrooge was hot. That's just me.
I thought it was great. It was a great again. I thought that was a good contrast to Carol Kane, right? Yeah. This super sweet, and I thought it was the best way to play those differences, right? Because she was this really sweet fairy knocking the fucking shit out of Scrooge or whatever his name. I can't remember his name, but you know what I mean? Yeah. It was great, you know what I mean? But
and one thing I will say, if you really want to see Carol Kane at her pinnacle, her absolute best, check out the series Hunters on Amazon Prime. It's not a horror series. It's a series about Jews hunting Nazi war criminals, led by Al Pacino. Logan Lerman's in it. A bunch of faces you recognize, but
Al Pacino,
yeah. But Carol Kane and Saul Rubenstein play a married couple who survived the Holocaust, and then they're going in like that. But she is absolutely phenomenal. Because typically we see Carol Kane so often in comedies and doing like black comedy, doing something goofy or doing something silly in that respect. This is her, and this is the level of acting that she's capable of, which we see hallmarks of. Because that's what reminded me of is Carol Kane getting kind of reach into her hat, and her hat is a lot deeper than most people give her credit for. Because she went all out, and there were just moments of nuance in how she approaches a scene, how she looks at what's going on, where the exposition is all in her eyes. And I really enjoyed what Carol Kane, despite the fact that, yes, a lot of it felt very phoned in. This was a cheaply made movie. It only takes place, I think, in like 2 locations, which is pretty much her, Carol Kane's house and the office. And it gets kind of gross at the moment because, the bodies start piling up in the basement as she's recreating the office scene in her head. Because I will tell you this right now, she is batshit fucking crazy in this movie.
Oh, yeah.
She is like, John Doe 7 crazy. when you're crazy, when you're crazy, as you clearly are, do you know that when you're insane, as you clearly are, do you know that you're insane? But yeah, I enjoyed what she brought to the role. I thought it was good. It was dark. There was a lot of blackness there. The insinuation that she was, What? Oh, the insinuation that she was molested by her father and her mother didn't care, and all of that kind of, going into this, and then having to take care of her crippled mother and shit. But I enjoyed it. I really, really dug it. It was entertaining, and hearing Molly Ringwald just drop F-bombs all day while she's chugging down cigarettes was just fucking great. And did anybody else catch? That was Ariana Huffington. That character, Virginia, the office manager, like the head of the magazine, that is such a send up of Ariana Huffington. It absolutely is. Of the Huffington Post.
I did not catch it.
Yeah, I didn't.
Only me. I was like, holy! The accent, the smoking, the attitude, everything. The way she's reported to behave around everybody in the office. That was an absolute satire of Ariana Huffington, who runs the Huffington Post.
Right.
So she's from what I understand, from what I've heard, she's an atrocious human being. And that send up of her was brilliant. And they got a classically trained German theater actress to come in and portray her, which was brilliant. So there's a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun things about it. But I really dug it for Carol Kane to go that dark. Because even in the darkest moments, it's dark. It's not funny. So
I thought it was funny.
No, I mean, in the moments when, like, after her mother dies.
Oh, yeah.
There was no comedy in that scene when she's discovered that her mother has passed away.
Makes you kind of uncomfortable because you know, throughout the whole movie, you're kind of laughing at this, right? There's even though it's the lady running around killing people and kind of weird.
Well, when she's trying to tape up one of the corpses that's decomposing in her basement.
Yeah, that's funny.
Him with Windex.
That's funny. And then then this happens. You're like, man, am I supposed to laugh here because I don't feel like laughing?
Right.
Which kind of makes
they don't let you forget. They don't let you forget what you're seeing is absurd.
Yes,
and it's funny. We can see it in a funny way. And of course, the people around her are also it's almost American Psycho in that respect. Everyone around her is so self-involved. They are incapable of seeing what she is until it's too late.
Mm-hmm.
and they have no hint of it. The only one who does have a hint is Molly Ringwald's character, and she's the only one that gets away, even though tried to kill her twice. She tried to strangle her, and she got out of it the same way. It's just hilarious. But that's what I dug about this one, is that despite how absurd it is, and even this went to a place that American Psycho didn't, because American Psycho was also it was absurd, but it also went to the ambiguous. It's kind of like, wait, is it all in his head?
Right.
So it's kind of like, this one never did. This is not in her head. She's actually doing this. Yeah, and in that one moment when she discovers her mother has died, the one thing that was kind of like she was hinging her sanity on, or whatever was left of her sanity. When her mother died, that flip out moment, that's not funny. She was this girl was insane. Like, that was the last straw. And you saw that straw break, like right there in that moment. And just because I think this is that, even though the script is kind of the production was cheap. This is an early Miramax film. This is shortly after they got bought out by Disney, because they got bought out by Disney in '94, and then this was like 3 years later. Cheap little film, horror film, whatever, slash film going out there, and then, but this is the professionalism of Carol Kane. This is how fucking good she is. And you get that little moment where even in a throwaway movie, like Eugene was talking about, like that default mode that actors go on, I don't think Carol Kane has a default mode. She's just a fucking amazing actress and has that talent. No matter what she's doing, small project, large project, she's going to go full bore. And I really appreciated that. The only reason to watch this one is for Carol Kane.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, because everybody else, it just felt flat. It just, and like maybe this just makes her stand out like even more on it. And I couldn't, there's some scenes I just couldn't get past, because I was just like, it was just like flat, just like the whole conversation on it. And it just, like, I think I would equate it to George Lucas and the prequels of Star Wars. How you have Ewan McGregor, who, despite George Lucas tanking everybody else's performance in the prequels, Ewan McGregor kind of goes above and beyond. I mean, Natalie Portman looks like she is a wooden board.
Yeah,
and
like she was in that one.
Yeah, and Natalie Portman can act. Natalie Portman can really fucking act.
Wildly talented.
And George Lucas somehow stopped her.
Yeah. Hey, I know I gave you a lot of money to be in this movie, and I know you're really talented, but can you just stand there and let Keira Knightley do the work?
You're making Hayden Christensen look bad. Can you, like, go down a notch?
Yeah, look, Hayden Christensen really can't act. So if you act the way you normally act, it's going to make his acting look really shit. So can you dial it down a lot? Like all the way?
Sarah Bella says the only issue is that when you are bringing your A-game performance and everyone else is flat, it can sometimes work against you and make it look as if you're being over the top.
Yep, especially a Carol Kane type actress who has those kind of quirkiness about her, the way she performs. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Oh, I think another thing that goes for this one is that this is a female-centric slasher film, which I found interesting, because these kind of ones don't come along all that often, which is probably why in '97 this is the reason this one got made. You've got Carol Kane, leading this whole bunch, Molly Ringwald right behind her, Jean Triplehorn. I think that this was post Basic Instinct.
Yeah. Basic was what,
94, 95, or 92?
I think it's after Basic Instinct.
Yeah.
92.
So you got Jean Triplehorn.
Maybe 92, 93. Yeah.
It might have been 92, 93, early 90s, Basic Instinct.
Right.
So you've got a strong, and of course, Barbara Sukawa, who is a theatrical legend in her own right from German film and theater. So you've got heavyweights when it comes to acting in this. Everybody, talents in their own right. A female-centric slasher film in the late 90s. I mean, I get the final girl thing, but the final girl in this one was ostensibly the killer in this. And I liked having this kind of spin on it. Women, and the way women, this kind of depiction of women taking advantage of women, and flipping the tables on this. I like what they were trying to go for here. So while, yeah, there's a lot of things that would make you maybe cast this thing aside, but looking a little bit deeper, you got the efforts of Carol Kane, which were awesome, and kind of make, like Johnny said, there's a couple moments that make you feel kind of uncomfortable. You know, just like, and it wasn't because they're cringe, because they're acted out so well.
Yeah, because she's good at her fucking job.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and they tried to do something interesting here. Slasher film, yes. Office, spree killer, whatever. You know, going this idea on going postal. And then flip the tables. Don't make it a guy like movies like Pandemonium or Rampage. Do it, you know, put the meek, mousy secretary finds her fangs. And I liked it. I did. I enjoyed it. It was, you know, entertaining. It's not going to be a part of my personal collection, but
can I just point out the fact that your go-to for Jean Triplehorn is Basic Instinct?
Well, I could also mention Big Love, but not everybody saw that series on HBO.
Well, sure, but I just think it's funny that she's been in like 47 different things, but it's Basic Instinct that that's your go-to for Jean Triplehorn.
What do you want me to say?
That you like seeing her boobies?
What the fuck do you want from me?
Oh, nothing. I just wanted to know that was your go-to. That's your go-to.
just pointing stuff out.
Yep, just point. That's what I do. That's what I do here.
Just making an objective observation.
Yeah.
Technically, Aaron Race, she's a spree killer in this one. Yeah.
Right. Because it's not. She's not eating while she's doing it.
But actually,
I'll let myself out.
And I'm off the podcast.
Yep. Thanks, Dad.
But I want to ask the audience, and we talked about in terms of going postal. What is your favorite going postal film where somebody just snaps and they just go on a killing spree?
Garbage Day.
Silent Night, Deadly Night 2. I want to talk to him, and I want to ask him, when you saw that line in the script, what went through your head? Going all the way back to the 80s.
Yeah.
You're reading the script. Oh, Silent Night, Deadly Night 2.
You know what he's going to say?
Oh, continuation of the story. He's a professional actor. He's like, oh, yeah. Reading the script. And he was doing his highlights, making his notes, and then he comes across the one line. Garbage Day. What is my motivation in this scene? How am I going to drop this thing?
I want to hear that conversation. I want to hear that conversation between him and the director.
You're right. I want to know what went down with that one. I just fucking love that. Take out the trash.
So here's the thing. Okay. You're walking down the street killing people. We cool with that part? Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Right. I'm a deranged killer. Cool. All right. So you walk up to this guy who has a silver trash can. All right, yeah, okay, got it. He puts it down, and then you deliver this line, Garbage Day. Ooh, falling down. Yeah.
Yes, falling down.
Does he really go on a killing spree? He kills like one person. Well, I guess he is responsible for the... No, he's not responsible for the deaths of the gangbangers.
Because they crashed their own car. That's right. They crashed their own car after trying to kill him.
Right. The only person he killed was the
Nazi war guy, the Army Navy surplus guy. Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it's still one of my all-time favorites. It is by far my favorite Michael Douglas film.
That is when someone has that I've had enough.
Yep.
I've certainly had enough of all of this.
Yep. You have to put newspaper in your shoe because there's a hole in it.
Right. What the hell was it? We're shooting a movie. You need to back up a little bit. What's the name of the movie? Under Construction. That was like... sounds okay. Sir Little Wolf says John Wick. Anyone who kills because of a dead dog is great in my book. He certainly does go. He was like, yeah, pretty much. Oh, yes, Sir Little Wolf. Hobo with a shotgun. Yeah, hell yeah. Rutger Hauer. A hobo with a shotgun. God, he was so great.
Jeez.
Defense.
Yes, the baseball bat. You took your bat? No, my store for protection.
Defense.
So bad. Sorry for
we got a
that was pretty
terrible.
You pay or you go.
That's racist.
It was not a good depiction of what were they? Was he?
He was Korean.
Korean? He was Korean. Yeah. Okay.
China. I'm not Chinese. Korean.
Korean. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Falling Down was absolutely
great movie.
And of course, if you the scene in the Whammy Burger was great. Did you know?
Yeah.
Just a little inside. Did you know the actress who was initially taking his order, the young girl taking order, is Michelle Pfeiffer's sister?
Really?
I did not know that.
I didn't.
Oh.
Dee Dee Pfeiffer.
Really? She looks nothing like her.
But I mean, I was like, wow, okay, yep, Dee Dee Pfeiffer. Nerd Journal mentioned Guns Akimbo. Guns Akimbo was actually pretty good. That actually was. So Little Wolf, does the original Friday the 13th count?
I think so.
Yeah,
has to.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole premise of it right there.
Yeah.
Wrote a no last name, Machete,
or
Mariachi.
El Mariachi.
El Mariachi.
Machete.
In walked the biggest fucking Mexican I've ever seen.
That's Desperado, but whatever.
I know that's Desperado, but still, I love Steve Buscemi in that scene.
He's so good in that movie.
He's so good. And just his whole and like the bartender, everybody's like they're into this, and it was like in walked the biggest fucking Mexican I've ever seen. I fucking love that shit.
This place is full of lowlifes and degenerates. Not like this place. Well, you find it. Yeah.
Tony Regime says Super with Rainn Wilson. When he snaps, it is awesome. Yes, that was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, Aaron Reese, I highly recommend you check out Mayhem with Stephen Yeun from
Mayhem,
Walking Dead.
I really enjoyed Mayhem.
Mayhem was good.
Yeah,
Mayhem was really fantastic.
We had Sarah who had a classic one, Taxi Driver.
Taxi Driver. Yes.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Here.
But definitely let us know down in the comments below or at weekinhorror@gmail.com. Well, it's about that time, Johnny. They're here waiting for trivia.
Hi, time to go.
But I think it's trivia time. I think it is trivia time. For this. Oh, Tony Regime would like to say El Mariachi didn't snap. He just went with the flow.
That's true. He was really cool. He was really cool. With everybody. He's like, you killed my wife? All right.
So this is I will say this. So before we do this trivia question tonight, I want to make an announcement, and this announcement will also be going out to everyone in the monthly newsletter. If you are one of our patrons, you will get our monthly newsletter. Just to give you a heads up what's coming up in the month. So in this particular one, what we have got for this month, or what's coming up, is that this trivia question will be the shirt we're giving away. We're giving away a limited edition number 4 shirt, which will be the Shit Gets Real shirt, and it will be in the color of your choice for the size that you need if you want to make a present out of that. But I am announcing it officially now. For the month of December, I will be unlocking all of the limited edition shirts from the vault. All of them will be available on our Teespring at the lowest possible price. And I will be getting y'all a discount code to go along with that. So for Christmas, you can get any option will be available via the Teespring store. Those will go live on December 1st, and you can get all of them. But for this particular episode, we're giving away a limited edition number 4 shirt, which is Shit Gets Real. And Johnny, you got it tonight. So give them what they want.
I don't have it. I'm kidding. All right, so Denholm Elliott, who played the evil Dr. Savary in Transmutations, was made famous for his portrayal of what character who was the best friend of Henry Jones? Nobody should need Google for this one.
Yeah, this should be obvious. Mm-hmm. Give it to him again.
Nope.
Oh, come on. You can give it to him again.
All right, I'll give it to him again. Denholm Elliott, who played the evil Dr. Savary in Transmutations, was made famous for his portrayal of what character who was the best friend of Henry Jones?
You know, the way it's written, it sounds so like downplayed, but this is actually like really major. I'm very curious. I would think people should get this get this a lot faster than they're getting it. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, I think the problem is those films aren't horror films, so they may not be,
Yeah, it's a reference to the actor. So
sure, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know somebody knows this.
Violence.
Yep. This is one of the longest.
I can't believe somebody hadn't gotten this one already.
Yeah,
I know, right?
Like Glober Mom must be asleep at the wheel.
You know what I'm going to do? And maybe that people aren't looking at it. I'm going to up the ante. I'm going to get, instead of the Weekend Horror number 4 shirt, I'm going to give away your choice of shirt. Just like I did last week. Just like I did for a couple weeks ago.
Ooh, I don't know, Sir Little Wolf.
So you will get. So I'm changing the prize. Your selection, whichever limited edition shirt you want, 1, 2, 3, or 4. I will unlock it specifically for the winner tonight. I have got.
JL.
Does that count?
I was asking you. I think so because we took it for. There's another one we took it for. Just a first name.
See, I don't know because with like Jeopardy rules, you have to do at least last name.
We're not Jeopardy. We're not highbrow. We're like,
I'm just saying that's the standard for trivia.
We're like the love game, Love Connection, where the lady was asked what was the weirdest place she ever had, or what was the strangest place that she ever had sex, and then her answer was in the butt. Swear to God, that was a real episode. That was a real episode. I think it was either Love Connection or one of those, but yeah, real episode.
What is your ideal date? I would say April 23rd because all I need is a light jacket.
Yeah.
So okay.
Do
you think did Sir Little Wolf get it?
I'll give it to Sir Little Wolf.
I think so because yeah.
Yeah.
Look it up. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't put the last name in there, which is interesting. But he did spell it correctly.
He did, yeah. That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's pretty good.
Okay, so the consensus of the panel is that Sir Little Wolf took it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll get Sir Little Wolf.
Congratulations, Sir Little Wolf. It was a little weird that you didn't put the last name in there, but yes, it is Marcus Brody from the Indiana Jones. From Raiders of the Lost Ark and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Yep. So Denholm Elliott played
officially it is now Indiana Jones and Raiders of the Lost Ark. They've officially changed the title.
Okay, Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and Last Crusade. So yes, It was Marcus Brody. So diminutive, yes, Charlie Welch, diminutive K9 for the win. We do. Congratulations there. That one took it. I didn't think it was going to be that hard. I thought those names were pretty obvious. Close second, Brendan Riley with Professor Brody from the university. Right. Technically, I think he was from the museum. No, was he a professor? Or was he just a museum curator?
I thought he was a professor, but
I know he was friends with Indiana because he was by association with his father. But I thought he was just the curator of the museum.
See here,
and yes, it was Henry Jones. Henry Jones.
Yeah, he was a curator, but he also, he says an archaeologist, historian, and a lecturer. So he did lecture.
He lectured at the university. Okay.
Yeah.
So yes, it was Henry Jones's best friend. Henry Jones, Indiana Jones's father, or Indiana Jones's dad. So, but yes, congratulations to Sir Little Wolf. Let me know. Message me. Oop, I hit my screen there. Let me know which of the limited edition shirts you want. 1, 2, 3, or 4. Message me directly with your size, and we will get your shipping details. So we can keep those updated, and I will get you. That shipped out immediately. Jinju says the plot hole that was on the
Newlywed Game. That's right, Newlywed Game. Yeah, I knew it was one of those, but still, I mean, it's funny to think about it. It's a '70s show. Perfectly innocent question. Where's the strangest place we got the butt?
That's fantastic. All right. Well, congratulations once again to Sir Little Wolf. I think this is the first time you won something. Maybe it's not, but definitely let me know your shipping details and the size shirt you want and which one you want. A limited edition 1, 2, 3, or 4. And don't forget, all of the shirts are going live for the month of December. Just to give you guys a heads up on that one. So if you want to gift a Week in Horror shirt, I will make them as low as I possibly can. And for those who are patrons, you will get a discount code as well that offers another 10% off. That will be included in the monthly newsletter. So look forward to that. Awesome. Well, that will bring another episode of Week in Horror to a close. Thank you all so much for listening, and we truly hope you enjoyed the show. Join us next week when we look back at creepy forest horror Wendigo, alien terror in Extro. I'm so looking forward to talking about that one. Going back to the 60s with Village of the Damned and the outrageous Critters 3, the first film of Leonardo DiCaprio. We'd like to send a special shout out to all of our amazing patrons. You can see their names in the banner below who continue to help us make Week in Horror the incredible success that it has become. Thank you all so much. Mwah. We couldn't do it without you. And you know all the cool artwork that we have for the show and our limited edition T-Works. Well, that work is the work of Joshua Olsen, who does all of the artwork for Week in Horror. And now he has opened up a store showcasing all of his amazing designs. You can check out badsamurai.store to see all of the latest amazing additions to his shop. I'm sure you will find something that you love. Visit us at weekinhorror.net, where you can find links to all of our episodes, our bios, our merch store at Teespring, and of course, enter your email for a permanent entry to win a mystery horror shirt every month, courtesy of $6shirts.com. We love those guys. For more horror entertainment, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, where you'll get the daily splatter, a bit of horror movie info every day right to your feed. And please like, subscribe, and smash that bell like someone's head caught in a jigsaw trap for all the latest updates from the show. And be sure to leave us a comment. The interactions really help us with the dreaded algorithm, a slasher that we cannot escape. And lastly, if you truly love what we do here and you would like to and are able to support a production, you can through our Patreon. We have tiers as low as $1 a month. That is cheaper than a Friday the 13th throwaway victim. Higher tiers get early and special access, bonus content, monthly horror movies, and can even join us as special judges for our bloodbath debates. Check that out at patreon.com/weekinhorror. But if Patreon is not your preferred cup of blood, you can always support the show through our PayPal as well. Links to all of this, including our Discord community where you can find film recommendations, trailers for the movies we've talked about, trivia games, horror watch parties, and even interact directly with us, are all in the description below. As always, sharing the show with the friends in your local horror community is the best way you can help us continue to grow. Thank you all so much for being the greatest audience a podcast could fucking have. I am JL.
And I'm Eugene.
And I'm some fat guy.
Johnny O. We'll see you all next week. And as always, stay scared.
Oh my God. What was that?
Shut the fuck up.
Was that Rip Taylor? Was that Rip Taylor there?
Oh, I'm going to eat your
Stay scared, everybody.
I'm going to eat your whole fucking head.